Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. Have you ever looked at these anywhere, Lowe's, Home Depot, Ace Hardware, and wondered how in the heck do you put these in? We're going to continue on with our anchor videos. These are called drop-in anchors. This is a 3/8 size. Now, I will tell you that they come in all different sizes. This is the ones that I have here. I've used these before, and I have a few left over, so I decided, what the heck, I'll just go ahead and use these in my video. And this is the tool that you will need to use these with this anchor system. Now, we've already done tap cons, we've done green anchors, we've done blue anchors, so on and so forth. We've done drive pins. We're going to keep stepping our fastener videos up to show you guys stronger types of anchors. So the good thing about this is once you put them in, they're pretty much guaranteed going to stay. You cannot use these in block. You've got to be very cautious when you're using these anchors. A lot of the times you're using drop-in anchors for concrete on the floor, or concretia, however you want to say it. A lot of the times these particular ones right here are used inside of flooring, like on a shop floor or what have you. So I'm going to tell you, me personally, I do not recommend these in block. I've never even really put one in block because of that fact. When I first started, the guys told me never use them in there, so I'm just telling you. I have seen people use them in block that is filled, so inside of the cavity they put mud in it, and I mean, I'm not saying it work, I'm not saying it won't. I've seen people do it. I don't recommend that. We will go further into this video series and I'll show you that this is kind of what you would use for that, but we're not doing that today. We're doing the drop-in anchors, so I'm going to show you guys what you need. Now, it is important to know, and if you don't know, look it up. Google is your friend when it comes to lots of this stuff. You need to know what size drill bit you need. You need to know how deep that you go also, because it is important not to go too deep, because if you go too deep, well, you know what happens. But if you go too deep, you know, your bolt may not be long enough, or you may go past, like if you're, let's just say for instance, your pad is only 4 inches deep, and you keep going and you drop your anchor and it's like, boop, and then you're gone. You know, you're in the, basically in the gravel. So you need to know how deep your pad is. Most flooring is at least minimum of 4 inches. A lot of it's way more than that, but I'm just saying. So just make sure you know. So, without further ado, we're going to jump right in here. I'm going to show you. We will be using my SDS drill to put this in. We will be showing you exactly how far this goes in so you guys will know. And then we're going to install one so you guys can see how it actually goes into the block, stays in the block, and you can be super tight. Another thing to keep in mind when you're dropping these in, what size a bolt that you're going to use, because you know you don't want to make the bolt too long and then you got all your threads sticking up, because that serves absolutely no purpose. You know, and you don't want to stack a bunch of washers under there, which I have seen so many people do, and it's so crazy to see that. And I'm like, why don't you just get the right bolt to begin with? If you're putting a piece of strut on there, you got to kind of know, you know, how much extra bolt you're going to need. You know, you don't want to go too deep. You don't want to go, you know, too shallow. So just keep that in mind. So I'm going to tell you guys the strength, potential strength of the 3/8 and the 1/4 inch, because that's the two usually that most people use the most. Obviously, there's bigger ones and there's smaller ones, I think. This is what I have. This is what we're going to use. I'm going to put this into this block, even though I'm going to go into, I have a cap block, as you guys saw in the video. I'm going to lay it up here and I'm going to put it in and I'm going to show you. And we're going to tighten the bolt up. I'm going to show you how stout it is. Pretty crazy. So first, we're going to go through the specs of this. If you don't want to hear the rest of this, then, you know, timestamps will be down below. You guys can go right past that and see the video. I'm going to read you right off their website, the Redhead website, of what this says for 3/8. Now, it says that a 3/8, you have to go, it says right on the bag too, thank goodness, right? It says right on the bag, 1 5/8 inch minimum depth embedment. This has to be in 1 5/8 inch. I'm going to show you how to do all that here in just a second. So it depends on what kind of concrete you have now. So we're going to go from 2,000 PSI all the way to 6,000. And from 2,000, the tension it would take to pull this out would be 2,980 pounds. And 4,000, 3,800. And then 6,000, 6,240. So, you know, there you go. And then the shear is 3,160. A couple things about this. I'm going to start this video. I'm going to bring the block up here. We're going to set the drill up. This is the bit that I will be using. It is a 1/2-inch bit for this anchor that has to go in. It is important on this, now I did tell you before, it is important that when you put some fasteners in, you don't have to put a piece of tape around your bit or know how deep you go or even really worry about cleaning your hole too much. This one, you pretty much have to, all right, because it's very important. If you don't, then like I said, you could go too deep, or you could have too much, debris in there, whether it be dust or pieces of aggregate or whatever, and you think you're deep enough, right? So you drop your anchor in and you have like this much sticking out, and you're like, oh, so then you take your drill bit and you re-drill because you thought you didn't drill enough, only to find out you didn't clean your hole out. And that is a bad thing, because then your anchor is too deep and it could potentially go through or what have you. So we're going to set this up. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about, and you guys will understand. All right, now like I mentioned, we're going to use my SDS drill. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to see how deep, right, that this is going to go. So the best thing to do, the rule of thumb, is to put it up against your bit and then put a piece of tape around here. That will ensure when you drill down, you will see where it ends and know that is where you got to stop. Now you can go a little deeper as long as you know the depth, okay? Now it says 1 5/8 minimum. Do you remember me reading that? What we're going to do is we're going to get a piece of tape. We're going to put it around here, and I'm going to show you. So I'm going to go ahead and get my tape ready. And I'm going to say that we need to go at least that deep. So we want to put a little wrap of tape on there. And we want to leave an end for a friend so we know we can get it back off when it's time. Now, when I drill down and it gets to this depth, which is right here at the bottom of this tape, I know that's as far as I need to go, and I don't need to go any deeper, because if I do, I'm going to really sink this in. Now, like I said, you can go a little deeper. Don't want to go super deep. But I'm going to go ahead and we're going to drill this in. And I'm going to show you, okay? So, put your ears on. Let's go ahead and drill down, and I will show you. Now I want to blow this around too so I can see. All right, there we go. That's the correct depth. Now, like I mentioned, you want to make sure that you clean your hole out. Now I'm going to, for the video purposes, I don't have my little blower or my vacuum. I'm just going to dump this out and off camera, and then I'll show you how this goes in. So after you do that, you take your anchor and you drop it down in. Just like that. We get our tool. So before we put this in here, after we drilled it, I want to tell you guys, it says clearly on this package, if you read, it says that the minimum, right here, is 1 5/8 inch deep. Now, why does it say that? It says that because this anchor is 1 5/8 inch. And that is, when you put it in, it'll sit flush. So it is literally flush with the block or floor or whatever you're using. You want that to be down. It could be a little lower, like I mentioned, but you want it to be minimum of 1 5/8. Let's go ahead. We'll take our tool. We're going to set it in there like that. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pound this in. I've got my hammer here. I'm going to go ahead and pound it in. And what we want is we want this tool to be flush all the way down to floor height, so it locks it in place. So let's go ahead and do it. All right, we are now seated in there, guys. And we'll give it the old tug test just to make sure we're good and tight. Yeah, she ain't coming out, guys. We are in there very, very good. And you can take it out. If you had to move something around, you can put a piece of strut there, whatever you want to do. And you now have an anchor that is literally set for life. You're not getting that out unless you literally break that sucker. You don't want to do that. All right, there you have it. Super great anchor. I love these anchors. The problem with the anchor is one of the only problems that I have with these anchors, two things actually. If you don't get deep enough, you're going to get screwed. Secondly, you got to be pretty precise with these, or whatever you put over top has to have enough movability to, you know, if you're off a little bit, which you could be, because sometimes these drill bits, they actually walk. Not saying they will, I'm not saying they won't. I'm saying there's a potential, you know. If you want to hang something very precisely, you better make sure that you're either really precise or you've got a little bit of play in whatever you're, you know, using, because it's a potential, if your bit walks, you're going to be off a little bit. So anyway, just keep that in mind as you're putting these in. They're very strong. They're not going literally anywhere after that. So once you get them in, they're good. If you guys are interested in seeing how to put tap cones in, check the video right here coming up. You guys can meet me there. You can start watching all of the fastener videos. Some are lengthy, some have quick videos. So you might want to check them out. If you like what you see here, like and subscribe. God bless, guys. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Have a great day.